Hey guys, kia ora, whakalofa lahi atu e no mai hoki mai. Welcome back to today's podcast episode. Today is episode number 10. Oh my goodness, we are 10 episodes deep in our 14 days back to back Love Yourself Enough to series. And I'm so excited for today. Today is Love Yourself Enough to Hold Boundaries. Now, boundaries is something that I have seen in so many people, and just people who come up and, tell me, what they need help with. It's usually always boundaries. And I think a lot of women struggle with boundaries because we are conditioned to be nice, to be kind, to be like a people pleaser, to take care of everyone else. And I just want to say as well, like, holding boundaries doesn't mean that you're not nice. Holding boundaries doesn't mean that you're not kind. It actually is kind to hold boundaries, and we're going to get more into that as well. So I like to think of boundaries as you're putting yourself first. You are not abandoning yourself. The way that you know that you need to put boundaries in place is if you are saying yes to people and then you're doing something for them, you're looking after their kids, you're doing them a favor, whatever the favor is, right? And while you're doing that favor, or when you're going to do it or whatever, you're like, damn, like I actually can't do this. I'm at full capacity. You're tired. It's putting a strain on you. You're already burnt out. You're doing that on top, and you have resentment for them, and you're judging them, and you're angry at them, and all the things. That is a sign that a boundary needs to be put in place. So boundaries is putting yourself first, not abandoning yourself for somebody else. So when you don't hold those boundaries, you become resentful, you become angry, you become bitter, you become rude, and you low-key tell yourself that everyone else comes before you. Everyone else's needs is more important than your own. And that is not very self-love of you. And it also erodes confidence. So I'll give you an example as well. So the other week I got invited onto a podcast, and I showed up for the podcast and she didn't show up. She stood me up. And I was like, well, damn, like Kate the Pie. I was like, oh, well, like something must have happened. I'm going to go on with my day. I think I waited about 7 to 10 minutes on the call. She didn't show up. So I went on with my day. Then she messages me, lets me know that, she's had some issues on getting online. She's so sorry. She wants to reschedule. And I'm like, I'm so sorry to hear all of those things, but I'm not looking to reschedule with you. And that's a boundary, right? My boundary is that I'm not going to play in this frequency of people who stand me up. I'm going to be in this frequency of I honor my time, I trust myself, and also I'm not going to be in a situation where people don't respect my time as well. And someone who didn't have boundaries would have been like, yeah, that's fine. Like, I'll rebook straight away. I'm easy. But my boundary was so simple. Honor my time. And I'm telling myself as well that I honor my time. And this is also, like I said, the frequency, right? This is the energy you're putting out into the world. Had I accepted that she didn't honor my time, I'm putting that frequency out into the world that I don't even respect my time. I don't respect my time either, so play with me. Play with me, allow people to not honor my time, put me in these low frequency areas of life, right? It's this law of attraction, right? No, I want to be up here in this high frequency of people who honor my time, who are fucking on their shit, on their game. They're there 5 minutes earlier. They're sending me emails in advance and organizing all the things. That's the frequency. And that's the frequency I'm in when I'm hosting people, when I'm a podcast host for somebody to jump on my podcast, or when I'm in Destination Self-Love, right? So that's the boundary. So getting really clear on what your boundaries are. And we're going to have some action steps as well. I've just got some notes down here as well because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. I have a podcast episode. I think it's Setting Healthy Boundaries, and it goes into more in depth on boundaries and things like that. But this is like loving yourself enough to hold the boundary, because a lot of the times we know what our boundaries are, but we don't hold them because we don't want to feel the discomfort, right? We don't want to feel uncomfortable. We're worried about, what are they saying about me? You feel uncomfortable and the uncomfortable feeling is only because it's something new to you. You're doing something new. You're setting a boundary, and that's new to you because your whole life you've been about people pleasing. And I also just want to say, in these moments, like, it's not like if I'm not going to come back on your podcast and I'm not going to rebook. It's out of love. Like, oh, thank you, but no, actually, I'm not going to rebook. I honor my time vibes. And another one of this is, for so long, like, I didn't speak to my parents. You guys would know if you listened to the podcast a lot. If you're OGs, you'd know all my stories about my parents and setting boundaries and stuff like that. And if you want to listen to that, go back and listen to the other podcast episodes as well. But, I stopped talking to both of my parents because they kept disrespecting my boundaries. They kept overstepping my boundaries. They just didn't listen to my boundaries, right? And with boundaries as well, it's not a preference. And a lot of people like, this is my boundary, but they treat it like a preference. And then when someone doesn't do the boundary, there's no repercussions, so the person doesn't listen to your boundary because you're not even upholding the boundary, right? So with it is like, if you don't do this, if you don't adhere to my boundary, or if you don't respect my boundaries, I'm going to do this. And usually that's like, I'm not going to come to family events. I'm not going to hang out with you. I'm not going to make time for you. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to have you a part of my life. Like, that's the boundary, right? And for so long, that was my situation with my parents. I didn't speak to them for years. And only recently, they've both come back into my life. But the difference here is that it's on my terms, right? So boundaries get to be on your terms. I will only see them when I want to see them. There's limits, there's clarity, there's self-respect. And I usually only see them for a short period of time. So you actually get to decide what the boundary is. And that's the beauty of it all. Like, you get to decide. And also, boundaries aren't about controlling other people. It's not like, if you do this, I'm going to punish you with this, like, kind of vibes. No. What you're saying is, this is what I will accept, and this is what I won't accept. If you do the things that I won't accept, then this is the repercussion, or this is what will happen. And you are not responsible for how people respond to your boundaries as well. You're responsible for honoring yourself. And I mean, yeah, people might not like it. They might push back. But I want you to know, if a relationship only works when you abandon yourself, that is not a healthy relationship. I'll say that again. If a relationship only works when you abandon yourself, that is not a healthy relationship. And boundaries are about not abandoning yourself, right? When you're people pleasing, that's self-abandonment. When you're putting everyone else first, that's self-abandonment. So I always want to give you actionable steps for how you can hold your boundaries. And I want you to take a look at your life, right? Notice where there's resentment, because resentment is just a boundary that hasn't been put in place. So notice where you feel resentment, notice where you feel drained, notice where things feel hard, or should I say where they feel heavy. These are your signs, right? So look through your life, where are these areas where you're kind of like, oh, like, this feels heavy, this doesn't feel good, this feels draining to me. And then I want you to set internal boundaries first. So a lot of times people go externally, then they start setting boundaries with all these people and stuff, but set them with yourself. Tell yourself and allow yourself to hold boundaries. I am worthy of holding boundaries. I am allowed to say no. I don't have to people please. I'm not a bad person if I say no to a family member who needs help. I'm not a bad person if I say no to the friend or to the workplace or whatever it is, right? I'm allowed to say no, and that is okay. I don't need to justify myself. That uncomfortable feelings doesn't mean you're a bad person or that you're wrong. I'm allowed to say no. And this is something I had to do for myself. I'm allowed to say no. It's okay to say no. I'm not a bad sister if I say no to my siblings because I need to put myself first. I'm not a bad daughter because I don't want to talk to my dad or I don't want to talk to my mum because it actually really fucks with my mental health. I'm allowed to say no. I'm allowed to take myself away from situations that don't make me feel good. Okay, and then this one is so perfect, and it's one that I had to do all the time. Instead of automatically saying yes, pause. If someone asks you for something, pause before you reply. So if they say, hey, can you babysit my kids on blah, 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 pause without just saying yes, because your gut instinct is like, yeah, I'll help you. You know, that's who we are as people. We want to help. We want to support. We want to be kind. We want to be nice. We want to, help people. But it's pause, check with yourself. My go-to is usually like, let me check my calendar. Gives me a bit of time. And sometimes I do it either way, whether I want to do the thing or not. I'm just like, let me check my calendar so that I can pause and think about my situation and what I want to do. You can also tell them, can I get back to you on that? Let me just double check and I'll get back to you on that. And I would highly, highly recommend to do this for at least the next couple of months. Every time something comes up, someone asks you to come to something, someone asks you to do something, someone, whatever, let me just get back to you on that one. I'm just going to double check a few things, because you don't owe them immediate answers, right? You don't have to give them immediate answers. And also just you saying, let me just double check that thing. That's also a boundary, right? That's also empowering yourself to be like, actually, I have a decision here. Like, I have a choice here. Sorry, should I say? I have a choice here and I get to decide. And also sometimes when you're in spaces, you might have just had the coolest catch up with a family member or a friend, and then they ask you for something, you're in this high vibration, you're like happy and you're like, yeah, I'll do it, sweet, all good kind of thing. It's like, wait, let me just check a few things and I'll get back to you. Then you get to go home, you get to think and actually think about and check in with yourself. Do I have capacity for this? Can I help this person? Do I want to do this? Does this make me feel good, or do I feel drained? Does it make me feel heavy? Or like, how do I feel about the situation? And then you get to reply. So, I mean, that you can be like, yeah, sure, I'll do that, whatever it is, if you actually want to. But this is more so for the cases where you're like, no, keep the answer simple. Actually, hey, I've just checked. I'm not available for that. Hey, I just checked. That doesn't work for me. Hey, I just checked. Or, hey, I won't be continuing with this. Hey, I'm not available for that. That's what I use for the podcast. Actually, I'm not available to rebook. I don't have to explain myself. I don't have to tell them, hey, you didn't honor my time and that was actually disrespectful, what you did and all the things. I'm not here for that. I'm just like, actually, no, I'm not vibing with that. I'm not available for that energy. And same with my family. There was a situation where it was kind of going back and forth. And with boundaries, there's no back and forth, right? So it was like I had to be like, hey, actually, I'm unavailable for all of this that's happening. If you want to move forward in the relationship, this is what I need. This is my boundary. If not, I'm not going to be a part of your life. So say it and stop talking. Say it and stop talking and sit with the discomfort, because you are going to feel the discomfort. And I just want to preempt you that this shit is going to be uncomfortable because it's new to you. It doesn't mean that you're bad. It doesn't mean that you're wrong. This is a sign that you're breaking a pattern. This is a sign that you're choosing yourself. This is a sign that you're choosing self-love. This is fucking beautiful when you have the discomfort. So sit with it, honor yourself, hug yourself, love on yourself, spend a little bit extra more time with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself more love. Hype yourself up. Like, amazing. You just set a boundary and you just stuck with it. I'm so fucking proud of you. And obviously, the more that you do this, the more easier it becomes to say no. The more easier it becomes to say, hey, I'm not available for this. I heard one recently where a friend had said to someone else, like, hey, we should catch up. Let's do a Zoom call. And the girl was like, oh, I'm not available for Zoom calls. I only do in-person catch-ups. And that was her boundary, right? So you get to look around your life and be like, what do I love? What do I not love? So I'm going to try to wrap up, but I just want to talk about why boundaries are so important, because you might be listening to this and you might be like, yeah, that's cool, hyped up and all the things. But then you go away and you're like, oh, too hard basket. So I just want to let you know why this shit is so important, because I hope this becomes your driver for why you are going to go and set those boundaries with those people, with the places, with whatever it is. When you don't have boundaries, you lose who it is that you are, because you're so outside of yourself, people pleasing for everyone else, doing things for everyone else, putting everyone else first, that you forget who it is that you are. You lose your voice. You self-abandon and you start telling yourself, I can't trust myself. I can't listen to myself. I can't speak up. My voice doesn't matter. This is what you are telling yourself by not putting boundaries in place. And one that I know a lot of women feel is that you burn out. When you don't have boundaries, you burn yourself out. And everyone knows what burnout feels like. It doesn't feel good at all. So if you want to avoid if you want to avoid burnout, you need to have boundaries. If you avoid boundaries, you will have burnout. And then opposite to that, with boundaries, your confidence grows. You will be so much more of a confident woman when you have boundaries in place. And like I said, you're going to be emitting from a next level frequency. So imagine the amazing things, people, opportunities, jobs, goals, dreams, whatever it is that can come into your life when you're in this high vibe frequency, attracting from this higher space of like, these are my boundaries. I'm a boss ass bitch and these are my boundaries, as opposed to I'm people pleasing, I'm giving to everyone else, I'm putting everyone first. Really, I abandon myself. I don't have self-love. I'm not confident. That's low vibration energy. But we up here, we in this high vibration energy, baby. Your relationships become so much cleaner, right? It's not so freaking messy with relationships, and you don't know what's what and who's who and where the boundaries are and where the lines are and everything's crossed and mixed mingles. No, relationships are so much cleaner because you know what the boundaries are. You know where the fine lines are. You no longer have resentment. Your resentment fades because you now have boundaries in place. How fucking beautiful. And you feel safe with yourself. That safety, that feeling within yourself that I can trust myself. I got my back. I put me first. I have so much self-love. I'm not going to abandon you. I'm here for you. There's so much safety within yourself. Like, I got my back. I got this. I'm that girl. I am her. Boundaries are how you show yourself that you matter. It's how you tell yourself that my needs count, that I'm important, and that I am safe with me. So I'll wrap up here, but start asking yourself those questions. Where am I still abandoning myself to keep the peace? And what is one boundary that you are ready to hold right now? Thank you so much for being here again, Queen. I love having you here. Don't forget to like, comment, share with another Queen that you know needs to hold her boundaries. I love you so much. I will see you tomorrow. Ka kite, koe kia.